The Nigerian Bar Association actually says that the conviction of Simon Ekpa within 1 year exposes the underbellies of Nigeria's criminal justice system, even comparing it with the prolonged and protracted case of Nnamdi Kanu here in Nigeria. Your thoughts?
All right, depending on your time zone and your location, as a nobody Tata on Monday, the 8th day of September 2025. An update Nigeria will settle this same trending issue around the Mazi Simon Ekpa. And we keep finding whether that's now finished government now under hot soup, but after this judgment happened a few days ago. But I don't want to go into that for now. Anyway, this particular video from Arise TV, credit to them first of all. Actually, I'm going to watch this particular video from beginning to the end. A lot was actually exposed in this video. Was the case of Mazi Simon Ekpa and the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that have been in the Nigerian court for the past 4 years now. Actually, the video is self-explanatory. Just one number with data. Relax, you watch this video from beginning to the end. Make sure you need your jota and your pen because there's a whole lot that was actually discussed in this video. Basatara Simon Ekpa and Basatara Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So this video will tell you a whole lot of things that you need to know. And again, regarding the case of Mazi Simon Ekpa, the USB government, those who are loyal to Mazi Simon Ekpa, has actually filed for a move to the appeal concerning this jail term. I'll still in another video bring you guys updates on that. But for now, watch this video, share your thoughts and your opinions on the comment section, and do well to share this video. Enjoy the rest of the videos. I'll be right back.
Yeah, thank you, Ngozi and Adesua. We forget here that, like they say, that justice delay is justice denied, because we always say the windmill of justice grinds slowly but surely. You can't place these twin principles together and not expect a confusion, because when you say windmill of justice grinding slowly but surely, and then you forget that justice delayed is justice denied. Also, under the criminal justice system in this other jurisdiction that you talk about, prosecution actually starts from investigation. And that's why after investigation, they actually conclude investigation before even arresting you. And so once you are confronted with the proof of evidence, it's either you admit the culpability and spare the government the challenges of having to go through the rigors of long trials. And then also another thing that is very instructive in this jurisdiction are the lawyers. In those jurisdictions, when a lawyer also is handling a matter, the Bar Association also will monitor the way that lawyer handles that matter. And lawyers can be recommended for disciplinary measures once you unnecessarily delay the course of justice, especially when the evidence is overwhelming. But what happens here, the difference here is that before you are arrested, there is no evidence, there is no investigation before you are arrested. You are arrested here, and then it is after your arrest that the police and then the investigating agencies will now begin to source for evidence, gather evidence, and then political interference. I can also say here that EFCC in some cases will do theirs differently. They would have concluded arrest investigation before inviting you. But because of also a lot of political interference and all of those sentiment and talk, then coupled with unnecessary applications either from prosecution or from defense counsel, and then also the attitude of government to some of these cases, we find out that the course of justice is unnecessarily delayed. Nobody is punished, nobody is sanctioned. Unlike what we've seen in Finland, they've concluded their investigation even before arresting Simon Ekpa, and the moment he's arrested, he's confronted and charged to court. And the matter, in less than a month, they are done with prosecution. And the defense counsel, knowing fully well, it's not for you to come lie to the courts. It is for the prosecution to establish a prima facie case. And once a prima facie case is established, it is not for you to lie to the court or file unnecessary application, because once you do that, certainly the Bar Association is going to come against you. We saw what happens in the prosecution of some high-profile cases, Nigerians in London. Even their lawyers were also prosecuted, and sentenced to jail. But here, what happens? Because there are no consequences for these delays. That is why we'll continue to see, we'll continue to excuse away, our slow justice system, saying justice, the windmill of justice grinds slowly but surely. It's unfortunate.
Well, that's a lot, to chew on, liberals. I must tell you how we walk from the back forward. The delay that you spoke about, justice being denied. But let me ask you, Ekpa was tried and convicted in Europe for actions that had serious impact here in Nigeria. Legally speaking, could Nigeria have requested his repatriation? Or is this conviction abroad effectively justice done? Is that the end of this? And what do you say to those people who say, yes, justice, but lenient, 6 years for the crime, the carnage he has left behind?
Let's try a comparison between what Simon Ekpa was charged with and what Nnamdi Kanu is facing here. The offenses are similar. Nnamdi Kanu, Radio Biafra, Simon Ekpa, using the same channel. And then, so here, if Simon Ekpa had been extradited here, and then would have seen a repeat of the Nnamdi Kanu's slow-paced trial, politics, dilly-dallying, and all sorts, a change of defense counsels, amendment of charges, judges recusing themselves. And I can tell you, for the next 6 years, would be on the matter. But in Finland, they've looked at their laws and what is the penalty for the offenses he has committed. Mind you, he wasn't the only person that was arrested. Some other persons were also arrested with him. But because they couldn't really establish, they couldn't link those people with the alleged offenses, they were allowed to go. But here, it would have been a different case. So no matter, even if the man is jailed for 1 year, the fact remains that justice had been served in those society. The man, for example, in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, that man has been in incarceration, and if at the end of the day you find him guilty and say, okay, he's convicted for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, but meanwhile the case dragged on for 10 years or for 7 years, at the end of the day, would you say truly that justice had been served? Because justice is a two-way traffic and not a one-way traffic. So that's why I'm not looking at the years. I'm looking at the fact that justice had been served. And in this case, it was served timelessly. No delays. And that's the things we should be looking at. If probably the Buhari administration had taken, this route that the Tinubu administration took with the Finnish government, maybe we would have been, Nnamdi Kanu's case would have been concluded in other jurisdiction. But no, the way and manner he was even arrested, first and foremost, we had to deal with that. And then you now begin to talk about, apart from the trial, and then sentiment comes in, because the moment the delays associated with the trial will certainly bring sentiment. But also, considering the fact that, justice in Nigeria is selective. Mind you, Simon Ekpa in Finland is a politician. So imagine a politician in Nigeria, no matter how small, having to face this kind of charges. We've seen where governors' aides are arrested with guns. What became of such cases? Yeah. So those are the kind of questions we should be asking ourselves. I'm not talking about the number of years that it is little. The fact that in this jurisdiction, we've seen offenses such as this. Politicians would arm thugs, and at the end of the day, these people are arrested, and you never hear anything about this case. Yeah. But today, in faraway Finland, just as the same way we've had judgment for in favor of Nigerians in faraway England, was seen justice being served. Those are the things that we should be talking about. And how do we replicate such a quick dispensation of justice in our crimes here?
I guess that's the fundamental question. And your thoughts too, because there are indications, we're getting hints from the federal government that it may seek extradition, or repatriation after, what's his name? Simon Ekpa serves his 6-year term in Finland. I mean, what purpose would this really serve? Would it not amount to double jeopardy? Does it mean that government wants him to again pay for his sins against Nigeria, especially the Southeast? And speaking of the Southeast, what do you think this conviction means for the Southeast?
Yeah, two things. Your question is hydra-headed, but I will attempt the first one first. Yes, Nigeria has a right to request for his extradition after serving his jail term. But the first thing first for me is the fact that the man has been convicted in faraway Finland. And 6 years is still, a long time from now. Maybe if this government will still be in office, or maybe another government would come, and this would not necessarily be their headache, or that, we can't keep a lot of things in the front burner here, and we are very religious people. We easily forgive and forget. Maybe at that time, the Southeast would have been very peaceful, and all of these issues would be forgotten. Or maybe somebody from the Southeast would be the president, and then, there will be appeal from, brethren and, all of that. But then, coming to what this means for Southeast, I think it's a pointer to the fact that no matter how far away you are from, the scene of the crime, if you orchestrate people, if your actions, induce people to commit crime, certainly someday you are going to go for it. And then also, I think that this can also form a basis, a ground for the leaders in the Southeast to begin to talk to themselves, especially this sit-at-home that is actually, destroying businesses on Mondays, some Mondays in some places. This will be an opportunity for leaders, political, religious, and cultural leaders in the Southeast to use this as an opportunity to, create a reorientation of young people. Because if you look at the story, the history of Simon Ekpa, really, Simon Ekpa, from what I saw, what I gathered also from the social media, at some point represented Nigeria in a 100 meters race. But frustration, the society, when a society frustrates a young man to the extent that is ready to encourage people to take up arms against the state. And that this is not to encourage taking up arms against the state, like I have said. Certainly, you will get your comeuppance just like this. But then the society also should retrospect and look inward and ask itself, all of these people that have capacity to become Simon Ekpa tomorrow, but are not Simon Ekpa today, how do we deal with them to ensure that the society also look out for them so they don't fall, they don't become extremists? So these are the narrative that we should be having, and not just in the Southeast, even in the Southwest, in the North also. We are talking about Simon Ekpa today because it's in Finland. There are so many people in the North. Are we not rehabilitating people like this, who had carried arms against the state? What have we done? We are rehabilitating them. We are giving them uniforms. We've given amnesty to some persons in the Niger Delta also. So it's a whole lot of discussions, because if you're looking at the justice system and the handicap of our justice system, we also need the state to step up and step forward to create a rotation and also find a way to actually, stand in the gap to give hope to some of these people. So it becomes, a win-win situation for both the state and the people, because all across Nigeria, Southeast, Northeast, West, and the Middle Belt, you see criminality everywhere. It's almost as if we're at war.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, that's a good place to leave it. Liberal Sashona, legal practitioner, all views, have to be aired. There are those who raise those concerns that justice has been served, caution to others, but it does seem lenient to them. Thank you again for being on the news.